Welcome. Today, we're diving into a fascinating kind of shadow war. It's not one that's fought on the battlefield with soldiers, but in the skies and through spreadsheets. It's a complex war of logistics. Let's break it down. So, let's start with the big question, right? How exactly do you cut off a militia's lifeline? Well, the first move seems obvious. You control the skies. But as we're about to see, in the high-stakes world of arms smuggling, every time you block one path, it just leads to a more creative and, frankly, a much more dangerous detour. And it all begins right here, at this choke point. You've got Egypt and Saudi Arabia making a really decisive move. They completely shut down their airspace to any flights they even suspect are carrying weapons to militias in Sudan. With that one action, they've effectively severed a critical artery in the whole supply chain.
Now, at the very heart of this blockade is a company called Fly Sky. And you gotta hear this, the source material doesn't call it an airline. It calls it a gang company. So yeah, don't let the name fool you. This is basically a specialized logistics service for the criminal underworld, moving weapons and other supplies.
Okay, so the front door is officially locked. The most direct air routes are now completely blocked, which is a huge logistical problem for these smugglers. But in this world, obstacles are really just invitations to get more creative. They don't quit, they adapt, and they always find a new way in.
And this is where the game gets really interesting. With that main northern route closed, a totally new and much more audacious southern corridor opens up. And we're not just talking about a minor detour here. This is a complete rerouting of their entire supply chain, with the Horn of Africa suddenly becoming the new hub.
I mean, just take a look at the sheer complexity of this new route. This is no direct flight. It's a dangerous, multi-leg journey that has to weave through all these different countries, and each stop introduces its own massive set of risks. It's really a testament to the length these groups will go to keep their operations running. But of course, the cat-and-mouse game is far from over. As the smugglers adapt, so do the powers trying to stop them. So the focus now shifts to Somaliland. There's a coordinated effort underway to try and close these new entry points and, once again, sever that supply line.
But what happens if the southern route gets shut down too? Is that game over? Well, the source suggests there might be a third, even wilder plan. A northern gambit that would send these planes through some of the most volatile and politically sensitive airspace in the entire world.
This potential route really highlights a pretty grim reality of modern conflicts. Wherever states fail, black markets thrive. I mean, this proposed path cuts right through the lawless deserts of Iraq and Syria. These are territories where national borders and international laws have become almost completely meaningless. And the source puts it like this. When the Syrian state fell, it became possible to send planes through zones of American and Israeli influence. And that's really the key insight here. Failed states don't just create chaos, they create opportunities for people who know how to exploit the power vacuums left behind. So, let's zoom out for a second. Why is all this happening? The source argues that these supply line battles are actually just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. It's all part of what it calls a grand strategy to destabilize and redraw the map of the entire region. And Iran, according to this analysis, is the ultimate prize.
The source actually pulls from an analysis in The Atlantic, which lays out 5 key ingredients for regime collapse. As you can see, you need a severe financial crisis, deep divisions among the elites, a big popular movement on the ground. You get the idea. The argument is that all of these conditions are aligning right now in Iran. And to put that financial crisis into perspective, just look at this number. The Iranian rial has absolutely plummeted. We're talking 1.5 million rial to a single US dollar. That isn't just a recession, it's a total economic meltdown, and it's absolutely fanning the flames of popular anger.
But here's the real kicker. According to the source, none of those other 4 factors really matter without international support. A popular uprising can be crushed. A financial crisis can be weathered. But if you get the backing of foreign powers, well, that's when a revolution has a real shot at success.
And the alleged endgame here, it isn't just about changing the regime. It's about the complete dismemberment of Iran, breaking it apart along ethnic lines. A move like that wouldn't just change Iran, it would fundamentally reshape the entire geopolitical landscape of the Middle East.
So how do you counter a strategy that's all about fragmentation? Well, you do the opposite. You form a strategy of unity. The source proposes a powerful new alliance, a regional bloc that would be designed to stand against these external pressures and forge a completely different future.
And this really lays out the two competing visions for the region in stark terms. On one hand, you have a future of division, chaos, and proxy wars, what's called a ring of fire. And on the other, a future of alliance, stability, and collective security. The stakes really couldn't be any higher.
So what would this proposed alliance look like? Well, here are the core members. A coalition of regional heavyweights, including Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan. And the key backer? China. This isn't just some defensive pact. This would be a new power block in the making.
And so, we come full circle. The real war, as we've seen, isn't just about soldiers and tanks. It's a war of logistics. It's a shadow conflict fought over control of the supply lines that keep the whole war machine running. The only question is, who's winning?
And that leaves us with a pretty provocative thought. In the 21st century, we always hear that the pen is mightier than the sword. But is it possible the shipping manifest is mightier than both? As this war of logistics continues to unfold, the answer to that question will likely determine the future of the entire region.